FFG has gone all in with their Destiny announcements in the last couple of weeks.
We summarize the plethora of news so you can be prepared for the next big event in your area.
This is episode 132, System Overload.
You have been well trained.
No. You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Oh, do not.
I'm not afraid.
There is no try.
We're back for another week of the Chance Cube. Sorry to miss last week due to the weather up north for Kim, and I had some family visiting me down here, so we kind of made the last-minute call to put it on hold, and we were kind of bummed out because last week was the stream to talk about Worlds.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, well, we'll just wait till next week to talk about that news, and didn't realize...
Because it'll probably be quiet.
Didn't realize the news deluge was going to happen. So,
no kidding.
We have ditched our previously assigned topic to just try to get through as much as we can today. But before we get into Destiny proper, there's been some Star Wars stuff going on, and then there's been some Kim Breeze stuff going on.
I don't know. It's still Chance Cube stuff.
It is Chance Cube stuff.
Do you want to talk about Star Wars stuff first?
Well, I mean, for anybody in California,
I can talk about that too.
We care about it.
I wish I could go to California.
I care. It's too far away. But,
it is quite far.
But yes, but I'm wearing my Galaxy's Edge shirt in homage to the opening of Galaxy's Edge in California.
I watched the dedication. I didn't watch it live, but I watched the dedication restream, which was pretty cool. They had some pretty awesome special guests show up.
Yeah, it's really awesome that they do that for the lands, because I know, because when we dedicated Toy Story Land here, Tim Allen showed up for that. Oh,
cool. I watched the Pandora one. When you guys dedicated Pandora, I watched that live.
And they had James Cameron and all his people, like the entire cast of Avatar. Yeah.
That's pretty cute.
So it's pretty wild they do that.
This was neat.
Yeah. So really excited that happened. And of course, anybody who follows Disney park news, Galaxy's Edge is not complete. Both parks are opening without their kind of main attraction, honestly. The Millennium Falcon ride is not not their quote-unquote big ticket. It is actually...
That's what they think. The other one does sound incredibly cool, but honestly, who doesn't want to pilot the Millennium Falcon?
True. Everybody wants the Millennium Falcon, according to the 17 comic books and 2 novels,
right?
In the What Happened to the Falcon series, whatever they're calling it. So really cool about that. Vanity Fair.
Yeah, it's been cool to watch.
Vanity Fair did their Rise of Skywalker.
Bit.
So lots of pictures from the set and lots of pictures from these characters. And the Knights of Ren apparently are going to get at least a moment in the new film.
I saw that, and it was from and I don't remember where I read it, but it was a reliable quote that that's who you see Kylo fighting in the trailer?
That's what they're saying.
And I was really surprised that something like that came from, I can't remember who the source was now, but I was surprised that they admitted that this early on. I don't think it was J.J. Abrams, but it was somebody who would be telling the truth, and I don't remember who that was.
Or would they?
I don't know who that was. So I was like, really? They're gonna let that see? I was just surprised that they would share that.
For sure.
This early.
So lots of good stuff in the Star Wars world. Super excited. We're about halfway through the year, which means we're about 6 months away from the release of episode 9, the end of the Skywalker saga, as they say. Until they
Although I'll be older by the time that comes out, so I guess we can wait a little bit longer.
They say it's the end of the Skywalker saga, but you know what? Toy Story 3 is supposed to be the last Toy Story movie, too. And here we are with Forky.
I don't know how to take that. I feel like they should have left well enough alone, but I don't know.
So anybody who follows our Facebook page, which hopefully is all of you out there listening, we did a thing.
We did a thing. Kim
and I have been talking about this for probably a couple years now, but only the last couple of months have we actually decided to do anything about it. Anybody who's looked at our mission statement and what we're about, the Chance Cube has always been founded on the idea of bringing communities together through tabletop gaming. That's what's written into our mission statement and our charter. The Chance Cube, a Star Wars Destiny network, has always been focused on Destiny, will continue to be focused on Destiny, and has a lot more Destiny in it to come, which we will talk about in a few minutes. but the Chance Cube as a company, as a brand, is expanding. So we've just added a new brand under our umbrella. Kimberly, take it away.
We have. We would love for all of you to come check out Tabletop Rebellion, which is going to be our take, our reviews. I'm sure many of you have heard me express my love for tabletop board gaming, seen games behind me, depending upon when I rotate my shelves in and out of the shot. So we decided there's enough of us that love tabletop gaming. We have an opportunity to educate people about board gaming with how to play videos, reviews, articles, news, things like that. So we have dedicated an entire separate page called Tabletop Rebellion for our love of board games as well. And I'm going to make Jason a board gamer before this is all said and done. That's for sure.
Try. She is definitely going to try. That's for sure.
He's done it a couple times. And I bought him a Disney board game so that I know how to like play to his interests and whatnot. So we've already got some great fans out there. I was very excited for those of you who have already come and liked the Facebook page. We're getting articles posted. We're really starting to ramp up right now. So you'll see a couple of posts. We'll have another article going out probably tomorrow morning. I don't think that's going to be after this evening. I think it'll be tomorrow morning. We're really starting to gear up for our Origins coverage. So that is just 8 days away.
That's awesome.
But we launched on International Tabletop Day. So what better day to really talk about board games than a pretend holiday about board games? So we'll have tons of coverage from Origins. We plan on being there every day. So, if you want to know what's going on, that includes covering the GQs for the Chance Cube side. So if you want to be able to stay in touch and see what all is happening at Origins, we've already got a couple meetings with some of the board game companies to see some of their new stuff. So we hope to be hopping onto Facebook Live. That is always dependent upon internet connection there. Yeah, so sometimes you can Facebook Live and sometimes you can't. But our goal is to try to do that, or we'll get some segments for you to share over on the page. But we're super excited about it. This has been, like I said, a little baby project of mine for quite a while, and I appreciate you, Jason, and everybody in the Chance Cube family kind of getting behind it and really supporting it. And launch day was pretty exciting last Saturday.
It was.
So we hope, as you guys are listening, please go check out Tabletop Rebellion. We are on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and we have our own webpage where you'll be able to see all of our cool little blog posts.
That's right. So
and videos soon. I'm house sitting a dog who's kind of crazy. So unless you all want him in the videos, I gotta wait till it's gone.
That could be a shtick.
He just does laps and smacks his head underneath the table because that's what's been happening for 3 days. So we decided to wait to film.
Wow, that's awesome.
It could be a shtick. Yeah, the Oliver spin could be a shtick for sure.
Different than Oliver Twist, I guess.
It is.
That's awesome. No, we're really excited to be adding that to our family. The brands will be kept separate, but supported at the top level from the Chance Cube proper. Looking forward to seeing what's coming out from that side of things. As far as this show goes, that's all we're going to say about that. And as we jump into the Star Wars Destiny news.
Ooh.
Let me take that back, huh? You'll find what you need.
So as you may have seen over on our Facebook page, we did do a call for writers a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was just a week ago. I don't remember. And, we've done this in the past before and always, get one or two little pieces of interest. But we were shocked at the amount of interest and support of people who wanted to come and write for us. The Chance Cube has grown, I don't want to say in our heyday, because I think our heyday is coming. But there was a time when we had lots of members and we were producing a lot of content, and a lot of content that may or may not have been technically on the approved side in terms of using things like TTS and other things. So a lot of our content
moved.
Whatever, I know. Kim and her soapbox is coming. Don't worry.
That's.
I think that's next week's episode. Anyway.
I think you're right.
I know a lot of our content kind of dwindled and a lot of our membership dwindled from there. But we are happy to be on the up and up in terms of getting a bunch of new writers for the Chance Cube blog. So we're happy to welcome Wade Hayes, Mike Hill, Mike Ohio Hill, because you're Mike Hill.
He is. So Mike Hill has actually been on the show before. He won our local regional tournament a few short months ago.
So we have Mike Hill from Ohio, which is different than our normal co-host from California. Cecil Miller, Matt Childress, and Chris Ainsworth. So all 5 of these individuals have been furiously putting, I don't say pen to paper, I guess keys to WordPress. I don't know.
I suppose so, yeah. Super energetic, super excited. We're excited to have them on board. They're excited to be here, so it's been really nice.
And of course, we strive for a different kind of blog that you can always go to our friends out there for your high-end strategy content, for your deck analysis articles. But we will be showing you a different side of Star Wars Destiny over at the Chance Cube. So check out our new website. It's recently redesigned, chancecube.com.
Looks awesome.
Go to the top and click blog, and you can see all our blog posts. You can sort by author, or you can soon we'll have categories for the pieces as they kind of shake themselves out. So
yep, yeah, and that's not to say because some of these, like I said, Mike has won our local regional, like a lot of these other guys. So they play Destiny often and they play Destiny well. So they've got some great insight on building communities and casual players and symmetry between cards. They have been very active. Sometimes I can't even keep up with them, but great group of guys who are very excited to share, their thoughts and feelings about Destiny with all of you. So
that's right.
We're excited to have them on board.
So check that out. As far as the news that came out of FFG, so it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Shoo!
Okay, now that that's over. So last Tuesday there was an FFG live stream, and we finally got all the information about World Championship for Star Wars Destiny. And this is something that people have been clamoring for because there are so many reserved seats and won seats out there. I know anybody who won, I believe, a regional and maybe even the Store Championship got a reserved seat, and the Galactic Qualifiers are actually paid seats. So you get your entry fee paid for if you win those
okay.
queues.
That's nice.
Yeah, because that's a $50 ticket, I believe.
Yeah, I think Store Champs just got you a buy at regionals. I think that's all you got out of those. And then regional win did get you a seat at Worlds, and you can start claiming those now if you did win one.
That's right. So we've been waiting for the dates, and we finally got the dates to be October 16th through 20th. So everybody can start buying their plane tickets and finding their hotel rooms. And kind of the other big surprise is, Worlds for all of FFG's games have been at their game center since the beginning of time.
And it's a nice game center. I mean, it's a large,
it's fun.
Yeah.
But they have decided that due to them wanting to allow more people to come play, and the size of just these games that they've bringing in, that X-Wing and Star Wars Destiny will be sharing a Worlds Week, but it will be in St. Paul, Minnesota, which is right next door to FFG's Game Center, at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. So it's a large convention space, I believe.
Yep.
In St.
Yeah,
Paul.
it sounds like it. And then, I mean, they did have stuff split between the game center and then the hotel that was just down the hill, literally.
Right. Yep.
So this will allow them to keep everything all in one place. I know they mentioned on the stream today that they were very excited about what they're able to do with that space. They didn't say what it was going to be, but just that they're very excited about how they're going to be able to lay it out and what they're going to be able to do. What that means, I don't know. But
right, for sure. So if you didn't hear the dates, Destiny is going to be taking place on October 18th, 19th, and 20th. 20th will be the day 2 Top Cut and Finals.
Yep.
And so the FFG's live stream will be mixed between Destiny and X-Wing. I don't know what other live streaming capabilities will be available. I don't know if we're going to be able to go ourselves. We haven't.
That would be, and it's a good point that you make too, though, because last year doing the live stream from their gaming center was a whole lot easier to get your hands on internet than it would be at necessarily a convention center.
Yeah.
Or some whatever this. I didn't have an opportunity to look up how large of a venue they're having this at, but it's not going to be as simple as, I was able to hook into their Wi-Fi or get like that. It'll be different for sure. So I don't know what other, and maybe FFG, that's going to be their call whether or not they let anybody else stream there.
Right.
So we haven't heard either way.
They also are going to do side events for Infinity and Trilogies. We don't know if those are going to be scheduled or if they're going to be like pods that are on demand, which
Right.
If experience proves anything, the on-demand pods generally go towards standard, and that's about it. Maybe a draft to get a bunch of people together who want to do it.
Yeah.
I would like to see them do a scheduled Infinite and a scheduled Trilogy tournament side event. I don't know if they'll do that or not.
Yeah, they just had more details to come, so...
Yeah. And as far as Destiny goes, Destiny is an open sales ticket, so they've got all their seats that are going to be held for the events for people who won seats, but they are allowing up to 600 players this year.
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen that.
300 for day one and 300 for day two. Last year was 3 days of 100 players.
Mm-hmm.
So they've doubled the number of players, but cut down the number of days because they can have more players play at the same time in this space.
Yeah. That's still a long day.
And then June 28th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, they will be having sales for all the tickets for those open seats. And this is the last year Worlds is going to be non-invitational.
Right.
So that's pretty
Which
huge.
will be really interesting to see that next year. Yeah, so this is your if you wanted to go and haven't got to go, this is probably your prime opportunity to buy tickets.
That is
because
right.
it's a larger space, and they're not going to sell tickets anymore this year. So, yeah. I don't know what the weather's like in St. Paul in October. I don't think it'll be chillier than when we were there in May, clearly.
For sure.
But it shouldn't be too bad, I don't think.
So, and what we also found out from this is instead of doing a store championship season like they would normally around this time of year, they're actually going to do another prime season, which equates to regionals. So there's going to be another set of quote-unquote regional style events coming down the pike pretty soon that will allow for more seats to be won for this event.
Well, that'll be nice too, because there really weren't, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, as far as areas and locations, there weren't that many. So this would give them an opportunity to hold them in areas that maybe didn't get represented on the first pass, which would be nice.
And if we've seen anything from their prize support for recent Grand Champions and stuff, I mean, they seem really excited about what's being developed for Worlds. I can't wait to see what they've got in mind. And then so lots of cool stuff coming. I'm really excited about the direction this is going. It's kind of a bummer we had to wait this long for this to come out. So the one thing that the article didn't say, so if you saw the stream or read some of people's recaps, you probably heard this. So they on the stream they actually had the, I guess, current head of organized play who's only been doing it for 6 months.
Oh,
You know, they recently redid a lot of their staffing over there, and he's newer. But he's been, but he's familiar enough with the games to know what's going on. He got asked this question on the chat that said, will players be required to submit their deck list prior to day one?
Oh, I did see this, yeah.
And so that was the big deal last year, was that you submitted your deck list prior to your first game. So if you were playing on day 2 or day 3, you got
kind of had an advantage,
to scout the players on day 1 or day 2 and make last-minute tweaks based on the meta. And I know some of the top-tier players did do that and were pretty successful in that strategy. This year, he has made a verbal agreement to not make that a thing, to make sure everybody puts in their decks or list before day 1. I will be shocked to see if that actually happens, because that's a logistical nightmare for them, I believe.
I can only imagine. But in all fairness, that's the right way to do it.
It is the right way to do it.
It shouldn't be that if I just happen to get, day 1B, that I have an extra day to go scout and see what everybody else is playing, and I could and then decide what deck I'm going to play after that.
Right, or make those last minute calls on cards or that one whatever.
Yep, and those that played on day 1 didn't have that opportunity, so I get that from a fairness standpoint.
For sure. So that's Worlds.
Ooh.
That was a big thing last week. That was
so there's one check off the list.
And the other thing is what I've got sitting up on the screen here for a little bit. Although this is not even the current Holocron. Wow, I think it this.
Did I not give you the right link?
You gave me the right link. I didn't click on it.
Oh.
Stand by.
Well, you can lead a horse to water, kids, but you can't make him drink.
Today was a big announcement of new Holocrons, which is pretty wild. new holocrons, new rules reference, some updates for Star Wars Destiny that was promised to us last week.
I really didn't think it would come this quick. Like, they're like, yeah, we're going to get you one. I didn't think it would come before Origins, because there's a GQ at Origins.
Right. And it is effective the 10th, so that would include Origins. So Origins
Yep,
is really
because
gonna be
Origins starts the 12th. Yep.
will be our first look at the quote-unquote new meta.
Yeah, I know several of us. I'm going to be there. I know the Ohio Mike Hill's, so we'll at least be able to get you some news out of that and see how maybe that's impacting stuff.
For sure. So some really big changes came to the errata from today, or the erratas and the balance of the Force. They actually unbalanced the Force.
A little bit, which was really surprising.
Really surprising. So, when Standard happened, they rotated a lot of the cards that were balanced, rotated out. So they dropped off the list. But what remained on there was Captain Phasma from the 2-player set, was Ayla Secura, and was Snoke. Those were 3 characters that were on the balance list before today. Ayla Secura and Snoke have been removed. They are now back to their printed point costs for the standard format, which is
interesting.
Huge for Snoke, and even huger, more huge.
Oh yeah.
For heroes,
I saw much rejoicing for Ayla being released.
Freed.
I don't know what. Yeah, freed. I think I saw both. I think I saw both terms said.
Yeah, because Ayla was balanced, because Ayla was almost in every hero deck at the top tables for Worlds of last year during a different standard meta.
Oh yeah. Very different.
When Ayla was the crux of the villain vehicle decks, and then your mono blue Ayla Ray was doing really well, and was just she was a very important character that was dominating the scene. Now that so much time has passed, I don't think she will be as prominent, but she will allow some new hero builds to come out.
Oh, absolutely. Important. Yeah, that'll be good.
So why was Snoke removed from the balance of the Force? Because Snoke got the errata that we've all been calling for this whole time anyways. Because there's been lots of different predictions on what would happen with Snoke, but I think last time we talked about Snoke needing a nerf, we had suggested, and a lot of people had suggested, Snoke's power action should only work on damage. Because what makes Snoke deadly is the enabling of the resource ramp, which enables cards like Vader's Fist, Mega Blaster Trooper, the ability to play multiple entourages in a turn. Like, those are the things that Snoke has allowed to make happen. And here he is. Now he's just a damage enabler with 2 focus.
I'm okay with that.
He's still strong, but he's not. We're not going to see him in every villain deck anymore. Right.
Yeah, which is generally what they try to do in these types of adjustments.
For sure. So not only was Snoke adjusted and Ayla Secura, they took a look at Force Storm. They are making Force Storm usable only once per turn in terms of adding a resource to it.
So they're killing the loop, essentially.
Yeah, too much potential that Force Storm could kill you basically on one turn with multiple activations and focusing into good rolls and everything. So that was pretty good. The LAAT gunship.
That was another loop.
Yep. Requiring you to roll a trooper die on one of your cards and play into your pool and resolve it, otherwise remove it. So that prevents that loop from happening. And then Watto. So Watto's another resource-generating character that took a bit of a hit. And they are now allowing Watto's dice to be removed by anything but blue events.
Yep. Which I think is fair, because it was... you can get rid of them. There was nothing you could do to get those dice out of there.
Right.
Which did seem... thematically kind of worked.
Right.
But at the same time, it was a bit too much. So I get that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thematic point was that Watto in the movie says his mind tricks don't work on him. So they actually found a way to keep the theming, but still make his dice removable by other colors.
Which makes sense.
Surprisingly, they said blue events. So now that his text has been changed, blue abilities would be able to remove his dice. So actually, mind tricks would work on him, but the card mind trick would not. But anyways, minor detail. So that's great. So, I mean, controlling Watto and his massive resource generation, his power action will still generate resources, but you can remove those crazy resource sides of his if you've got the removal in hand.
And that should slow some things down, I would think.
Hopefully, for sure. And then they did a couple clarifications on No Answer and Uneti Force Tree in terms of making sure the word then was placed in there so it wasn't used in a way that was not against what it should have been used for.
Yeah, that's
horribly
fair.
stated, but you know what I mean. So, and resoundingly, the community seems to be pretty happy about all these.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a little chat about it on the stream today. I'm trying to think if there was... No, I don't think any of these really came. At least when I was... And I only got to catch half of it, so I didn't see a lot of discussion about it.
Mm-hmm.
There was too much excitement from the other stuff they were showing on the stream today.
Right, for sure. So, I mean, it's been really good. I'm glad they actually took time at the beginning of the stream to talk about these and get Jeremy's kind of take on them.
Yeah, that was nice. Yep.
So... for anybody who's out there and getting ready to go to a major event, please make sure you're checking your holocrons, especially the standard one. Especially if you're looking at those quote unquote meta decks, Watto, Snoke, and Force Storm are your big ones that you want to make sure you're keeping in mind that those are no longer work the way you thought they did.
Right. Always good to make yourself familiar with that before a big event. Our friends over at Your Destiny have a really nice little guide for that kind of stuff too. Mm-hmm. So,
for sure,
they do a great job of keeping. They were updating that today, so I'm pretty sure it's up to date at this point.
Yeah, they're pretty much ninjas.
Nice. They really are. It's impressive.
Well, it also helps that they, the news comes out like while we're all at work, but it's while they're
right
not
for
at
them.
work.
It's that's true.
So
I know your secret now, Claus.
So all we have to do is quit our jobs. That's what
I just think Claus just doesn't sleep. I think that's how he does it.
You're probably accurate. That's probably true.
Survives on caffeine.
Right? So that was all the news, so that's great. So that's everything.
Well, except for, that stream today.
Oh, the stream today? Well, let's go ahead and jump into our discussion.
But you know what I always say. Speak softly and drive a big tank.
So what happened today? There was a big stream.
There was a big stream. It was kind of funny to watch, though, because it was a very uneven matchup, to say the very least. And they tried very hard to drag it out long enough that you could see all the cards. But at the same time, you're like, why don't you just kill that thing? Like, it was funny.
I mean, so if anybody who actually got to watch the stream today, FFG did a live stream, and the whole purpose of today was the Spark of Hope preview. And interestingly enough, what they tend to do with the Destiny streams is they tend to bring a couple decks and they play a game. And this time it was Jeremy with Aaron Haltom, and Aaron's one of the designers who's getting a lot more FaceTime recently with this game. Sometimes more than Jeremy, which makes sense because Jeremy's would prefer to be behind the scenes anyways. But so they brought decks, and they of course claimed that they weren't great top tier decks that they brought, but they were both trilogies, so they were only Convergence and Spark of Hope built decks, which I thought was very interesting. And so we got to see a bunch of new cards today. I think more than we've ever seen them do on a stream before.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot.
There were several new cards, and some cards we've seen recently, and then some cards that were brand new to us. So we're just gonna go through some of the new cards. If you're watching via YouTube or Twitch, we'll have them up on the screen. And for the rest of you, we'll kind of summarize what we're seeing.
Yeah, and they're over on the Facebook page. Like, if you want to, I mean, by the time you're probably listening to this, you've probably seen images of them somewhere. Right. But if you haven't, they are over on the Chainscape Facebook page. Matthew Scott was kind enough to screen grab these as he could. FFG did not have them necessarily very centered very well in the camera. So if you're wondering why, like, not a one of them was on. Like, they had a weird. And The tech person in me was trying to figure out where the heck the camera was, because I could see when they back off and do a whole screen or a whole shot of Jeremy talking to everybody, you know. I can see where they're putting that card, but I couldn't figure out where the camera was, because it wasn't visible on the table, so kudos to them on that, but I wish you would have had the screen up so you could have tilted them a little bit, because the OCD in me is like,
So, sorry for the angle of these pictures, but huge thanks to Matthew Scott for pulling off getting all these while he was at school, nonetheless.
Shh, don't say that.
I mean, okay. Sorry, I'll edit that out. Anyways, so there were some new characters that were spoiled. Again, Spark of Hope is the first time we're seeing non-dice characters, so these are characters that are not going to be rare, they're not going to be legendary. They do carry a point cost, but they do not carry a die, which is really interesting. And the first of which is the Hoffa Trooper. As many of our writers were accidentally typing Goth Trooper in our internal chat.
That was really funny. That led to a whole other thing that I enjoyed.
But the Hoffa Trooper is a 5 health red hero character with a trooper subtitle, and after you activate this character, you may deal 1 damage to a ready character. And it is 5 points, so you could, essentially have 6 of them on your side of the table if you wanted to. And I like the fact that they do activate, and you deal a damage to a ready character. So you've got to
do it early.
Yeah, activate them before your opponent activates, and you got kind of this ping damage that can happen every turn. As I mentioned in the stream, this is also a great way to get red into your deck for really cheap. So access to all those wonderful red events, which can remove your Watto dice. Not much else to say about this trooper, except really fascinated to see this type of design style. Because we saw it with the Ewoks as well, and I'm curious as to what the villains are going to get, because right now we've seen 2 hero.
So there has to be some on the other side.
Friends on the other side, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Next of which was Yoda. So first time Yoda's gotten a redesign. So this is Yoda 2, as all your shorthanders will probably start calling him. The Mystical Mentor.
This is a nicely done redesign card. This is a Yoda I think we all wanted before.
Right, yeah. A 12 health hero. 14/18 is a character, a Jedi, and a leader. 1 melee, 3 melee, 2 focus, 1 shield, 4 shields for $1.
Yep.
And 1 resource, so no blank sides.
And I heard him say he's the only character with no blank sides.
Only character with no blank sides.
That's what they said on the stream today.
I don't know if that's true, but he's not legendary, which I was impressed with.
He's not. Yeah, I'm real surprised. He'll still be a super rare, I bet you.
If you believe in that, yes.
I believe in those things.
This character has a +3 shield limit, so Yoda can have 6 shields.
Which was very funny to watch on stream today, because Jeremy frequently had him at 6 shields.
I mean, it's 4 shields for $1 is one of his sides. That's wild.
Oh, it's crazy.
This character shields can be used to block damage dealt to an apprentice characters. So this is the first time we've seen apprentice subtype referenced. And this is the subtype that Yoda shares with, that Ahsoka has. Yep.
So that was they were made well together. That's a nice, well, it's like a pseudo guardian. So it allows those, because that's 6 damage. I could potentially keep my apprentice alive and just lose my shields. So that's huge.
Because your apprentice could also have 3 shields, so now your apprentice essentially has 9 shields.
Yep.
So I almost feel like, from a thematic standpoint, that we're probably going to be expecting a new Luke as well with this Yoda.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
An apprenticed Luke.
Yeah.
So really intriguing. The 14/18 point value is going to make playing this Yoda elite interesting. But he is, he is kind of a tank in his own right. So, I can see kind of a big little pairing with him. Jeremy was
playing Ahsoka's great. Yeah.
Jeremy was playing Yoda with Ahsoka from Convergence. So that seemed to work out really well for him. So that's a nice pairing that you could look at.
Yep.
I believe we've seen this one in the Ewok article, but Chief Chirpa hit the table. So Aaron was playing. So while Jeremy was playing a 2-wide deck with Yoda, Ahsoka, Aaron was playing a 5-wide deck with 2 Hoffa Troopers, an Ewok warrior, Chief Chirpa, and
So it was a 6. Was that a 6-wide?
No,
Can I not count? 2 Hoth. It was 2 Hoth Troopers, right? Okay,
2 Hoffa
that's where I'm
Troopers,
counting
and then an Ewok warrior.
Yeah.
And Chief Chirpa, 2, 5, 5, 12.
And Wicket.
And the card I will be in every single one of my decks because I've been asking for him for so long. Wicket.
I was so excited for you when I saw this.
So happy Wicket came out. 7 health Ewok, 8-10 point value, so nice and cheap to get access to your yellow. 1 melee, 2 indirect, 1 disrupt, 1 shield, 1 resource, and a blank. He's a character Ewok scavenger, so he has that scavenger side of him, which is
nice.
Kind of interesting when you think about heroes. And after you activate this character, you may play a trap from your hand or discard pile, paying its cost. And traps are a new subtype of downgrades.
Yep, which we got to see today.
So that was really cool. So a nice addition to our Ewok ranks. I think the Ewok decks are really shaping up to be kind of interesting. A bunch of just little feisty bear things that are going to gnaw at your feet until you die.
They're creepy bears. I'm not going to lie. They're creepy bears.
Pretty creepy.
Side note, I saw a dude with an Ewok backpack today, and I thought of you, and I even scoured the internet to see if I could find it, and I can't find it.
They put Chief Chirpa's hut on the ground, which we saw in the Ewok article, as well as the Ewok bow. And the Ewok bow is kind of interesting because while it's on an Ewok, it gains redeploy.
Which is nice.
Kind of see this 1 resource cost upgrade just bouncing around the table. And it's got 2 damage sides to it.
And I thought he played it well because he put it on the other Ewok that we're aware of that has just the regular old Ewok warrior that doesn't have a die side, so then this gives them a die side.
Mm-hmm.
So when you activate, you automatically get the indirect, and then you have the potential to actually get a little bit more damage. You're not getting a lot, but a little bit more damage with this Ewok bow.
Yeah.
And then when somebody pings that little Ewok off, because they're going to, then you can redeploy it to another one, which is kind of nice. So
if you play it right and sequence it right, you could get multiple activations out of it if your opponent's not paying much attention.
Yep.
And then, so kind of the one piece of news we didn't talk about this week was the prize support that was coming out for the
that's right. Yep.
premiere events.
I feel like we touched on it before, but not in great lengths. But
which the images that came out did give us a look at Mr. Bones, and here is the actual card of Mr. Bones. And you're saying, who's Mr. Bones? Everybody, who's Mr. Bones? Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Mr. Bones comes from the Aftermath trilogy. It's a trilogy of books by Chuck Wendig that took place between the Return of the Jedi and the Battle of Jakku. Okay. So there's like a 3-year time span between those 2 events. And Mr. Bones was actually Snap Wexley's pet crazy droid.
Okay. Crazy droid. I like that. There's a lot of crazy droids in Star Wars universe.
Yeah, this one's nuts. As you can
this
see,
is why we shouldn't build artificial intelligence, people. I'm just saying.
As you can see by the flavor text, I performed violence, which is a common quote that Mr. Bones has. But sadly, Mr. Bones is a support, but he is a droid. No blank sides on him. 1 melee, 1 melee, 2 melee, 3 melee for $1, 1 disrupt, and 1 discard. So an interesting dice assortment for 4 damage sides, which is great. And after you resolve this die showing melee damage, if 1 or more characters were just defeated, you may ready the support. So a lot of people are comparing Mr. Bones to Balatik.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Because Balatik did reactivate. Now the problem with Mr. Bones is he's a support droid, and right now there are no upgrades for droids. Doesn't mean they won't have them in the future, but at least you get another little ping out of him, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
What else happened? So that was our characters and supports. And so now we're going to talk about this trap.
These were cool. I liked these a lot.
So 3 traps were talked about today, and they're cheap to play. So
that's why I like them.
Ensnare is a hero downgrade trap, 1 resource to play. After attached character is activated, you may discard this downgrade to deal damage to it equal to the number of its character and upgrade dice showing damage.
So it's if it timed well, could be a really big hit.
Yeah, and it's a you may, so you can do this anytime.
Mm-hmm.
So
otherwise, you just let it sit there. Yeah,
you let it sit there, and you really make them nervous to roll out. So you play this on somebody who's hopefully going to get multiple dice on them, and then as soon as they hit that crazy 3 or 4 damage sides or whatever it is, you using the snare, and then you're doing 4 damage to them, which is actually kind of wild when you think about it.
Yeah. And I mean, it could be enough to turn the tide in your favor, depending upon how late in the game you fire this one off.
I'd almost want to be. I mean, with Wicked, you can play these whenever, and you can play them from your discard pile, which is also great.
Right.
I almost wonder, like, if you play Ensnare early and then let it be just that mind trick for the entire game. I think that'd be crazy. Just to sit there and you're staring at this card and always kind of wondering when your opponent's going to activate it.
Right.
The next one is Net Trap, a 1 resource downgrade trap for the heroes, yellow. After attached character is activated, you may discard this downgrade to remove one of his character upgrade dice showing damage.
Mm-hmm. So this could take today in the stream. This was used against Yoda's 3 melee side whenever it came out.
Yeah. This is kind of like Suppressive Fire. I mean, it has the same kind of idea. You get to use this as a reaction, so it doesn't actually take up your turn to use the effect of this, which is kind of cool. And it kind of sits there until it's used, unless it's removed. But right now, Net Trap downgrade removal is not much of a thing right now.
Right. I have a feeling we're going to see some more come out in this set.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's 1 or 2 out there right now, and people aren't playing it. And maybe there's going to be better ways to kind of deal with these. Right. It's kind of like Plots too. When Plots first came out, they were like meh.
Yep.
And then they got better and better, and now it's like downgrades were like meh, and now it's like okay.
And Jeremy's the first one to say that he'll ease you into a new mechanic or a new card type. He's going to give you a few of them to start out with, and they're not going to be that exciting. But then the next set, he's really going to kind of, I don't want to say flood, but he's still going to at least provide some that are going to start getting your attention.
Yep. And then last of which of these downgrade traps, Rolling Logs, 0 resource. For the heroes, after attached character is activated, you may discard this downgrade to reroll any number of his character and upgrade dice.
So that's like doubt.
Mm-hmm. Kind of in a way. It's got some...
But you're taking a risk, because it's any number, so you can have them reroll all of them. You can have them I mean, that's... Anytime you want somebody to reroll something, they could roll into something better.
You kind of play this to help you avoid that, God roll.
Yep. Because chances are they're not going to hit it twice.
Right. So I love these traps, and I can really see an Ewok-based deck around them with Wicket as your centerpiece, getting these out there. So Wicket can get these out there without you using a turn, and then all of these are reactions. So, in essence, these downgrade traps, when played on the field with Wicket, never take up a turn to play.
Which is nice.
It never sets you back from a tempo standpoint, which is kind of cool. I mean, Ewok decks are going to have a tempo problem anyways because there's so many characters.
Right. But, that didn't happen on the stream today because Wicket met his demise a little early.
But Jeremy knew to take him out first.
And now so does everybody else.
Right. And then there's a bunch of events that tend to... That play into the Ewok family. Encircle is 2 resource cost event neutral. Spot 3 exhausted characters, remove all character dice. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To be able to wipe off your opponent's character dice off the table just because you have 3.
But that's going to be a timing issue card. Is you've got to have them. You've got to get it in your hand early, and you have to hold it. You have to keep it in your hand long enough to get all 3 of them activated.
Yeah, and I believe there's going to be there are some Ewok cards that allow multiple Ewoks be activated.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So, if you can get those fired off real quick, then Encircle may be able to help you remove 4, 5 or 6 dice all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, character dice means, even if you've got something like someone who's allowed you to roll in an extra trooper die, that's a character die.
Yeah. So,
this could have some pretty big impact. Specifically for the Ewoks, we got Ewok Ambush. So 0 resource ambush, activate one of your non-elite characters up to 3 of your Ewok characters. So really, if you could time Ewok Ambush and Encircle,
yeah,
there's your sequence there if you want to get kind of combo-y. And then Jeremy and Aaron have both talked about more deck types coming to the forefront, and we haven't seen a lot in terms of combo decks or combo actions, but we may be seeing the beginnings of it here.
Yeah, nice.
And 0 resource calls Glider Attack, a hero event for the yellow. Exalts one of your Ewok characters to deal 3 indirect damage to an opponent. That opponent may spend up to 3 resources to block that much damage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not so great against Yoda.
Right. The shields will just absorb it all.
But otherwise, yeah.
Pretty cool. And then a gray hero event, support the tribe, 2 resource cost. Spot any number of characters that share a subtype to heal that much damage from a character.
That was kind of nice.
There's a wide...
It's good. It's going to be super helpful in those wide range, and that's about it.
Yeah. And it's got to be like a 3 or 4, because I think 2 for 2 is not enough.
Nope. Definitely not.
At that point, you just use something like Field Medic.
I even, yeah. Yeah, I don't think this one will see. Even if I'm going 5, it's just... That's a high cost for that kind of healing, I think.
Yeah. Especially if they're trying to slow down resource generation.
Mm-hmm.
Support the tribe probably won't see a whole lot of play. But we'll see.
Yep.
The upside of Support the Tribe is... some of these larger decks with lots of small characters in them don't tend to have a whole lot of healing potential.
Sure.
So,
that's fair.
So kind of looking at the blue side of things, the cards that Jeremy brought to the table, Jedi Lightsaber is an...
Nice to see one of those back.
Yep, 2 resource cost upgrade weapon for the blue heroes, 1 melee, modify 2 melee, 1 shield, 1 resource, and a blank. After you play this upgrade, you may give attached character 1 shield or 2 shields instead if this upgrade is on a Jedi. Yeah, some great Jedi synergy, makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
We got our new form. We have the legendary Nieman Mastery, which I didn't know was a thing, but it's a blue ability and it is a form. Blue character only limit 1 form per character. It is 2 resource cost to play and has 2 melee, 1 focus, 1 shield, 1 resource, and 2 special sides. So Nieman Mastery allows you to, after you play the upgrade, to turn a character upgrade die to any side, and then the special says turn a character die and upgrade die to the sides of your choice. So
that's a character die, so that's mine or yours.
Correct. So
which is nice.
Some mitigation.
So what's the other one? So this is the second form that we've seen, right? Because isn't
Soratsu Mastery was the first
that's
one.
the other one. So chances are, I think they were talking about on the stream today that we didn't see it, but there's probably a training just like there is for Sarutsu. I'm sure, don't even know if I said that right, but
oh yeah, that kind of
because there's a training and a mastery. So our guess is that they do the same with these cards too.
That is very much that very much feeds into like a quest mechanic that they may be kind of easing us into.
Mm-hmm.
A sequence of cards that kind of end up in a certain direction. That's how I feel like the Death Star's
yeah,
the
forms. Yeah, the forms are interesting. Like it's because like you said, this isn't something that gets talked about. If you're a pretty heavy Star Wars fan, and I would give that title to you, Jason.
Thanks.
That knows a lot of the lore and a lot more of the backstory than some of us. Like that was one I've never heard of that mentioned ever.
In the comics recently, they've been numbered. The forms have been numbered. They've not called them out specifically by like a.
Oh, okay.
So I don't, it's like Form 4 or Form 3.
Interesting.
So, I think this stuff has some roots in Legends, which I'm sure that Lucasfilm has said, okay, we'll make them canon now.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
So Yoda finally got his lightsaber to show up.
Very nice. Although I'm surprised it doesn't have... I mean, the specials are fantastic on this, but...
Well, it is one resource cost to play.
And it's a one resource cost, which is crazy.
Pretty wild. So one
cheap.
melee, a modified one melee, one shield, one resource, and 2 special sides. After you play this upgrade on Yoda, you may give him 1 shield, like he needs any more help.
Right.
And then special, deal 1 unblockable damage to a character, or 2 unblockable damage instead if you remove 1 shield from attached character. So, I mean, this upgrade was designed for the new Yoda.
Yeah.
100%.
Kind of makes me think of Qui-Gon, like the old Qui-Gon too.
But I can also see this Yoda's lightsaber being played on the old Yoda with his special chaining.
Oh, yeah.
So even though the old Yoda doesn't have the shield craziness, you could take the old Yoda, resolve a special, gain a shield, flip this die to a special, and then use that shield to do the 2 damage. Mm-hmm. So it'll have a place for both, actually.
Come back.
You like seeing what? Oh, unblockable.
I like seeing unblockable. I don't know why that I've always liked unblockable. I just have always liked unblockable damage. I have no real...
Yeah, they shied away
I
from
have
it.
no good reasoning behind it, but I did enjoy it.
Well, thematically, I think a lightsaber should have unblockable damage. I mean, what can block a lightsaber? Like a force pike. That's about a... Anyways, Heroic Stand, a blue hero event, 2 resources to play. Play only if you control exactly 1 character and the opponent has 3 or more dice showing damage. Ready a character. That is a very specific condition.
Very specific. Artwork's super cool, but probably not going to get to the table a whole heck of a lot.
I feel like they got this artwork and said, okay, we got Luke standing against a bunch of people. How do we make this into a card?
Yeah. I feel like this might have been one that Jeremy had said. Which one did he say was like one of his favorite cards in the set? If anybody else watched the chat and saw that, they might remember. But it was towards the end, and but I don't remember if it was that one or not. So
you have to have 1 character alive.
Yep.
And your opponent has to have 3 or more dice showing damage, and then you can basically reactivate re-ready your character.
Yeah. Yes, you have to already have ready to, like, you have to have already had him exhausted.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It'd be nice to get 2 activations out of your character. I mean, I'm all for that, but at a 2 cost late in the game.
Yeah, this is definitely a Hail Mary play at the end of towards the end. And it's nice that it's a 3 more dice showing damage. So, in the support ridden world, that's pretty common to see toward late in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So, speaking of mind tricks, Jedi Mind Trick, 2 resource cost to play. Spot a Jedi to choose a dice pool. And choose a dice pool.
So my dice pool or your dice pool? It's either your dice pool or your opponent's dice pool.
Oh, I've never heard them being able to refer to that way.
Yeah, the only reason I think I understand this is because I saw them play it. I think that's the only reason I understand this card.
So, this is the first time we've always talked about dice in the pool, but we've never referred to them as separate pools of dice, which makes total sense. But they've never referred to them that way. So spot a Jedi to choose a dice pool. So either yours or your opponent's, or if you're playing free for all, any of your opponent's dice. So basically all dice that are in the pool for a single player. An opponent splits the dice in that pool into 2 groups of any size. Either remove all dice in a group, or turn any number of dice in a group to sides of your choice. Wild.
So you either get rid of them all or flip them all.
Huh. So I guess it depends on, whether you target your opponent's dice or your own dice.
Yep. And then even if you, which I don't know why you would do this on your own, because then your opponent gets to split your dice. I don't know, maybe that could work out in your favor.
Huh. So this is an evolution of Mind Trick, and now we've got Jedi Mind Trick, so this is kind of cool. It takes that Mind Trick idea and then expands on it. I really like how whether it's a character they've redesigned or a card that's kind of similar, I like how they evolve, but keep the same kind of basic thematics to them.
Yep.
Force connection. One resource support action. Exhaust the support and spot 2 blue characters to turn one of their character dice to a side showing the same symbol as the other character's character dice.
I feel like there's a better way to word this, and I don't know what it is off the top of my so much more complicated. Like, they read it twice, and I went, what?
Right.
So I just exhaust that support, and I gotta have 2 blue characters, and it's just turn one of my character die to a side matching one of my other character die.
Correct. So if you have 2 Luke die and 2 Yoda die, and then you use the support, you could turn one of your Luke die into a side that matches one of your Yoda die.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just super wordy for what it is.
It
for
is.
another character's character die. And I get sometimes they have to get wordy like that because there's loopholes and there's things. But, that one's a toughie.
Yeah. It seems slow. It doesn't seem like it's going to probably get a lot of play because it feels slow.
I mean, it's a 1 cost that is basically a free focus.
Yeah.
As long as I hit the die that I want on one of my characters.
Yeah. I feel like the removal game is going to ramp up again. I feel like we're not much of a removal game right now because there was a time you'd go to a game and like you'd be lucky if you have any dice at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
And we've kind of swung the other way to like how many of my characters can I get on the how much can I get on the table and deal you damage before you deal me damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're going to go back into that control game soon. So I wonder if Force Connection would get a lot of play because would you have dice in the table to make this worth
that's
your
fair.
while? I don't know. So Caretaker Village is a support location, 2 resource cost. It is a unique support. So only have one of these on the table. After an opponent's effect removes one of your apprentice or Jedi dice, you may exhaust the support to roll that die back into your pool. So it is the...
so it's a psych! I'm rolling my die back out.
It's the dreaded Vader ability, but for the heroes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Built into a support and can be used by any Jedi or apprentice. I like it.
Which is nice.
No,
I'm okay with it. Like, I would play that. 2 costs is... But it'd be worth it, I think.
If the removal game comes back real hard, 2 costs to put this on the table and being able to roll back your die when it gets removed.
Yep.
For sure. So, that's pretty cool. And last but not least, we have the red event, 1 resource cost, heroes. Spot any number of characters that have 3 or less remaining health to remove that many dice. Spot any number of characters that have 3 or less remaining health to remove that many dice.
So if I have 3 characters and they all have
3 health or less.
3 health or less, I could remove 3 die.
For 1 resource, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. You're only going to have this in a... I would think. I don't know. I guess even if you have a 2 wide. But if you have both chances are you're not going to have both your characters down to 3.
Uh-huh.
Maybe. That's a last-ditch effort kind of thing. So I feel like this is awfully conditional.
I mean, if we
I
get...
think this is another one that you may see it in the wide decks because it makes more sense.
This may promote, like, more damage moving. There's all those cards that move damage from one character to another that don't get a lot of play right now. This may promote more of that. Or, like you said, you've got 3 Ewoks on the table and they've taken each one indirect damage or something.
Yeah.
This would also be a good time for that. Again, a card that's got low cost, but, enormous potential if the conditions are right.
I almost feel... If it were 0 cost, it would get more play. I almost feel like 1's too much because it's not... I can't see this coming up that often.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm okay if I'm wrong.
You can be wrong. I can be wrong. Anybody can be wrong.
But that seems awfully...
So, there we are. That's a lot. That's a lot of cards that were dropped today.
There was a lot of stuff. Yeah, I was really surprised at how many that they... It's usually when, like you said, when they do many.
Yeah. So this is crazy. So thanks for those who have stuck around as we kind of go through all those early opinions on what those are. It feels like the game's getting a little... They're moving towards smaller and more often instead of big and bulky cards.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, this set's got a lot of those low-cost, smaller characters.
Low-cost upgrades that do minimal damage. Some great events that help keep you alive longer. I don't know. I think the game this set's going to slow the game even more than it's ever been slowed before. In addition to the rules updates that just happened, kind of minimizing the ramp, I think Destiny is kind of moving into a place where it's going to be longer games. It's going to be more strategically played than it currently is.
I can see that.
So
for sure.
I love it.
We'll see. I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it? I'm okay with it. Wicket was showed today.
I thought, oh, Jason's gonna be so happy. Is all I kept thinking.
Right. So I know it's been a couple weeks, but shall we go over our question from the Facebook?
We should. I think we should.
There can be no mistakes this time.
So now, if asked this question this week versus last week, I would probably have a different answer because I really like those trap downgrades. But we did ask you what your favorite downgrade was and why. So this was, of course, I don't think anybody hopped on there this quick and answered about talked about the ones that came out today. Chris Stevenson had mentioned Target Acquired. That's a great one, as it's been used on me to great effect. I'm not sure if that makes it my favorite or least favorite, but it certainly has been the most useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that is a nice one as well.
James Angstman says Shock Collar is my favorite. I place it on the character I'm not trying to kill first. I let it sit and do its thing for a while until I'm ready to target that character.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep, Mike Torres Hampered. It really does what it says on the tin. I love how limited it is unless it's played against me. I would agree 100%.
And then, yeah, you're up on this one.
And I can't do it. I'll never say it right.
Nereus?
I feel terrible when I butcher somebody's name.
We just call him NP.
NP.
He also agreed with Target Acquired. With Padme Dex, least favorite Mind Extraction, but it is powerful. I recently did a video on Mind Extraction. I think Mind Extraction's got some... I think it's got a lot of life in it left. I know it's 2 resources to play.
Yeah.
You can't think of it?
I can't think of the one. No, I'm trying to remember the one that I played against Vader. Maybe it was Hampered. Because it only let your opponent resolve one of its character's dice per turn.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Although we played it wrong. And so we played it one character die per round. So I beat Vader. Or Palp. Vader. And so then when I realized that I was wrong, I gave my win back to him. Because he would have totally killed me long before.
Right.
Long before I finished him off. But I like what they're doing with those downgrades. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure at first. I really wasn't. But just like what we said with plots and other things like that, they're slowly trickling in some that are very helpful. Mm-hmm. I mean, just these traps today are incredibly helpful and very low cost. And all of the downgrades I've seen so far are pretty low cost.
Right. So
that helps. And even the bounties. I don't see as much happening with the bounties, and maybe that'll change. But
I'm hoping we'll see more. I think there's more to come. I think to your point, Jeremy always does kind of ease us into these new card types, and I think we'll see a lot of downgrades in this particular set that do a lot more. So I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, me too. I'm curious.
So for those who are watching us live, thank you so much. We appreciate any follows or subscribes. Even if you're an Amazon Prime member, that subscribe is free. You get our cool emote, and it helps us because it actually gives us a little bit of money, which is nice to help keep this show alive. If you're following us,
internet conventions that we talk about a lot.
Yeah, that's expensive. If you're following us on YouTube, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification icon. Plenty more videos coming down. If you're watching us via the old school audio version of the podcast, give us a review on your favorite app. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you to Matthew Scott, who keeps our Facebook page alive and well. Thank you to all our Patreons. Please check out our Patreon. We do have physical gifts at the $5 and $15 level. $5 for the casual and the quote unquote competitive alike. And then check out our iOS application. We've got the Price Watch, where you can check out the prices from various stores on all your favorite Star Wars Destiny cards. And thank you to
Muffler Man says goodnight.
Head over to our Facebook page. Pinned to the top, what is your favorite reaction to the Star Wars Destiny? Oh, let me rephrase that. What is your reaction to the Star Wars Destiny World Championship announcement? And we'll be reading off your answers on next week's show, which will be next week, because I'm sure more things are going to happen. And
oh my gosh, busy.
We'll be here to make them up. Thanks, guys.
That's true. Have a great night.
This has been The Chance Cube, a Star Wars Destiny podcast, a non-profit organization dedicated to building community through gaming. Visit our website for all things Star Wars Destiny, including our Price Watch, Meta Tracker, and latest articles from the Chance Cube family. Find our latest videos on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit us at patreon.com/thechancecube. Your patronage allows us to grow this program and help us give back to the gaming community by sponsoring events, giveaways, and supporting our own community building initiatives. This is Mike Hill, the voice of the Chance Cube. Thanks for listening. The Chance Cube is not affiliated with Fantasy Flight Games, Lucasfilms, or the Walt Disney Company.